Okay, I'm gonna try to record this safety quiz again. So what I'm gonna do, I won't take a quiz, right? Because this is probably my fifth try. I took the quiz the first time and I realized that depending on what option you get, you may get different questions. So I don't necessarily want my quiz to favor certain people. So what I'm gonna do is actually just go through the questions, okay, with you guys, so you can see what the answers are. And I'm gonna go through this quickly so it's not too long. But let's see. Let me start from the beginning right here. As it says right here, what you can see. I hope I'm sharing the screen. Oh, it says you are sharing screen. Ha. Okay. So we're dealing with safety here. It's a safety quiz. And once again, you want to take this before you start lab flow. So it says here, in case of accidental contact with chemicals, how long should your eyes be flushed at the eye wash station? The answer is usually 15 minutes. Okay. So just in case they give you a hint right here. And then the alternate question that they might give you is, under what conditions should a student inform the instructor of a lab injury? You want to tell your instructor of a lab injury, regardless of whether it's big or it's small, right? So the instructor must be informed of all lab injuries. So that's the answer right here. Okay, then you have a hint given to you right here. So once again, I want you guys to go over this video if you're struggling to get credit for this assignment, and then, of course, submit everything accordingly. Okay, match safety equipment to emergency. I'm just gonna go to where the answer is. If you have chemicals on clothes, use a safety shower. Fire on a person, use a fire blanket. Large fire on a bench top, use a fire extinguisher. Chemical in eyes, use an eye wash station. And then cuts or minor burns, use a first aid kit. Okay. Oh, by the way, I learned that with LabFlow, if you mess up a question, if you don't get perfect points, you don't have to go and redo everything. You can just go and redo the ones that you miss. Okay. That way you can get through the assignments quicker. Okay, next one right here. We're working on identify the equipment best suited for extinguishing each type of fire. Small benchtop fire, overturned beaker. Large fire on the floor, fire extinguisher, clothing fire, fire blanket. And then what's the next one here? Process of using a safety shower. So I want to go to the one that has the answers right. Move to a safety shower if you spill hazardous chemicals on your skin or clothing. Stand under the safety shower and pull the lever. Remove clothing and continue flushing the area for 15 minutes. The key here is 15 minutes, okay, for eyes or for your body. Okay, using a fire extinguisher. Okay, I want to go to the part that has the answer. It is often helpful to remember the acronym PASS when using the fire extinguisher. Fill in the word that corresponds with each letter to complete the steps needed for operation of the device. So the PASS acronym stands for P for pull the pin, A for aim the nozzle at the base of the fire, S, the first S for squeeze the lever slowly, second S for sweep the spray from side to side over the fire. Okay. And that's it for the first question. So we move on. This one right here, once again, you might get this option and here are the answers. So if you have this NFPA diamond, this is the meaning. It has a flash point below room temperature. Okay. Give me just a sec. Okay, over here it says moderately unstable or reactive. And of course, these have to do with the signs right here. And so the flash point being below room temperature has to do with the red being number 4. Moderately unstable or reactive. Reactivity has to do with number 2. And so that's moderate. Sorry, number 2 on the yellow. Okay. And then here we have stable has health risk, but no special hazard. Health risk comes from the 2 blue. So remember, red stands for flames, and then yellow has to do with oxidizing or reactivity, and then blue has to do with health hazards, and of course, white has to do with corrosion. And then here it says the last one, oxidizer, but not flammable because you have the OX here, and not flammable because you have 0 on the red. Okay, let's see. Moving on from here. This is not as exciting. There's not really much I'm teaching here, but just trying to make sure, once again, I can help you all who are struggling to pass this problem. Okay, let's see. Did I? Oh, okay. Something's supposed to be showing up. Give me just a moment. We did this part here, right? Okay, something is happening to where it's not showing what's coming next. Oh, what's happening? Give me just a moment. Oops. Ignore that. Let's see. Something is happening to where it's not showing me the next set of questions. Okay. Maybe I should make a list view, but I'm previewing the questions. Oh, if I do it this way, this is what I see. No. Okay, so we got done with this list right here, right? Then we went to next. Yes, this is the next set. Okay, once again, this is a random question pool. And so for here, for this set here, we're told identify the precautions to take with exits in the lab. Okay, so the correct answer is right here. Oh, out of these four, these two are the correct answers. You want to check locate the exits prior to start of lab. Then you want to check do not block a door with an exit sign. The rest are obviously not correct. Okay, so let's see what is next. Do we have the whole pool here? Okay, I'm trying to make sure you guys can have access to the problems. Okay, here. Fill in the words to complete each step in the liquid spill cleanup. Okay, scroll down to the answer. So if you have a spill in the lab, you want to surround the area with absorbent material, then cover the spill. Scoop up the material and place it in a plastic bag. Place the bagged waste in a solid waste container. Wipe down the area with detergent and water. So that's the answer for that question. Let's see. Something else shows up down here. No, we're still moving on. For this one here, dealing with SDS sheets, which we have on campus in folders. The answer key for that one is in case of skin contact, so that in case you have chemicals contacting your skin, take off any contaminated clothing and rinse thoroughly. If inhaled, the chemicals they're referring to here was peroxide, right? I think the question was about peroxide. Exactly, hydrogen peroxide. Because I remember doing that question, right? So in case you have hydrogen peroxide contacting your skin, take off any contaminated clothing and rinse thoroughly. If you inhale it, move the person to the fresh air. If swallowed, rinse your mouth with water. You all know that peroxide is used as a mouthwash, right? To kind of kill bacteria and stuff. In case of eye contact, rinse with water for 15 minutes. Again, 15 minutes is the key here. Okay. I'm trying to get this to work. Let me see if I can refresh this if it will work better. Okay. I think at this one here, I think so. I'm trying to see. Did we do this one? Oh yeah, we did. We were just doing this one here. So let me go back to that preview. List view. Let's go back to the preview. We did that one. We did this one here. We just finished that one. What comes next? We did this one here. Okay, I guess we're making progress. This is what comes next. Okay. Oh, so what information does not need to be included on a chemical waste label? The answer is the description of the experiment the chemicals were used for, because the chemical can be used for so many different experiments. Okay. Okay, here, match each lab incident to the item of PPE, personal protective equipment, that will protect you from it. Each item of PPP will be used once, will only be used once. Okay, so while checking on a stirring solution, the solution splashes up towards your face. So you want to use goggles for that. You want to have the goggles before this incident happens, right? While transferring a solution from a flask to a beaker, the solution accidentally spills down the front of the lab bench. Hopefully you're wearing a lab coat before this happens. While picking up a burette, an unknown solution left in a previous solution drips onto your hand. Hopefully you're wearing gloves before this happens. While pulling an empty beaker off the shelf at the beginning of lab, it slips out of your hand onto the floor. Hopefully you're wearing closed-toe shoes to make sure you don't have fewer toes, okay? Moving on. Okay. What should you do every time before you leave the lab? You want to know what happened? I checked remove your gloves. I checked remove your lab coat if you're wearing one, wash your hands, not necessarily in that order. And I also checked turn off the lights. And then I got it wrong. And I was like, what do you mean? These are all correct. But I realized that I check off the light because I'm the instructor and I'm usually the last one to leave the room. But it's not really a safety feature. So you just check the three except for turning off the light. I know sometimes these things. Okay. Determine which item of personal protective equipment you will likely use in a general chemistry laboratory. Okay, so I'm assuming I didn't select any of these things here. So you use gloves, you use a apron, not apron, sorry, lab coat. In our labs, we don't have lab coats, we have lab aprons, goggles, and that's it. We don't do the rest of these. We don't use that in our lab. The experiment we're using doesn't require these kind of goggles. We don't need anything to protect our ears because we're not doing anything that is producing a lot of sound that we need to protect our ears for. So we don't check this. Okay, moving on. Determine when to put on disposable gloves for work in the lab. So you want to do that before handling any glassware or chemicals for the experiment. Why glassware? The glassware may be dirty. You never know if it's moist or has some chemical on there, or it may have some kind of dry powder that is harmful to your hands, right? So before you start the lab, you want to get gloves before you handle glassware that may be contaminated, have leftover chemicals, and of course, chemicals, right? Okay, moving on. Oh, we're doing good. I think we're getting close to the end, right? I hope I covered all of the ones that were necessary. Okay, here. Determine the safest option in the lab if you need your vision to be corrected. And the answer is wear corrective glasses or lenses under your safety goggles for the whole experiment, but always check with your TA or instructor for the school policy. Yeah, on campus, if you're wearing glasses, you have to wear your glasses underneath your goggles, your lab safety goggles. Okay, let's see. Determine when you should remove your goggles in the lab room. So when everybody in the room is done handling any chemicals or glassware, once again, you may not be very close to them, but they may be moving the chemicals from one place to another, and they can accidentally pour these chemicals on you, even if you are done with the lab. So as long as you're in the lab and somebody's working on chemicals, you are still exposed to danger. Okay. Let me see. Did I skip over something? No. Last one, according to this list, read each statement regarding food and beverages in the lab and determine if each is true or false. So for that one, chewing gum is okay in the lab as long as you don't blow bubbles. False. Beverages are allowed in the lab as long as they are in containers with lids. False. Yeah. Tobacco products of all kinds are prohibited in the lab. True. Food items should not be brought into the lab. True. Okay. It looks like we have reached the end of the safety quiz. Hopefully that wasn't too bad for you. So I am done here. I'm going to stop the recording. And this is the end. Hopefully this is helpful.